Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of 1990's Represent. We're still on our third cycle in 1998, talking about a movie on this episode. This episode, we're talking about Halloween H20, 20 years later, just in time for Halloween. So kind of interesting the way that worked out from like a timing perspective. But yeah, Halloween H20. Have my notes here for it. We're going to go through those notes and then get through like the kind of plot and all that kind of stuff as well. Let me just pull my notes open here. There we go. Halloween H20. First released August 5th, 1998. I remember when this came out. I didn't see the movie until somewhat recently, but I remember when this came out in 1998. I remember seeing just commercials for it like crazy. There being a lot of hype around it because it was, I think, Jamie Lee Curtis's first time in the series since Halloween 2. I think she's technically in Halloween 3 as like a voice role. It's uncredited. But this is the first time, I think, since Halloween 2 that she was on screen in a Halloween movie. So I remember it being a big deal at the time. And, of course, it being the 20th anniversary of the original Halloween. So prior to this, I had seen Halloween. I remember my friend and I rented that. I think this was like maybe like the mid-90s or something. I think we also rented Halloween 2. So it was like a weekend of like, it was like a sleepover or something like that. We rented Halloween and then also rented Halloween 2. Apparently, though, it was never meant to be a series like that. It was meant to be just more like of an anthology series. So they did the first one. And then the second one, they were planning on doing something completely different. But then the studio basically just forced them to, they're like, hey, that movie was really successful. Do that again. And then by the time Halloween 3 came around, they started, it was the one with the, like, the Toy Factory or, like, Season of the Witch is what it was. And that one was much different, but that was kind of like what they were apparently intending the entire time. And then after that, they just kind of basically went back to doing stuff with Michael Myers throughout the entire series. But let's see here. This one here ignores, I think, Halloween 3, which is completely disconnected from the other stories. But it ignores Halloween 4, 5, and 6. So this one does its own kind of retcon. Let's see here. And it is the sequel to Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2. The newer films, I think, like, ignore almost everything with the exception of the original Halloween. So Halloween, it ignores 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. I'm going to just bring up, to give it context, I'm going to bring up a list of the movies in the Halloween series. And then there's this interesting like chart I'm going to take a look at as well. But let me just see here. The Halloween series. Halloween H20. We just bring up an entire list of the movies in the franchise. All right, here we go. So in 1978, we get the original Halloween. Halloween 2 is in 1981. Halloween 3 a year later with Halloween 3 in 1982. Then in 1988, you have Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers. So they went right back to the Michael Myers. Well, with that, Halloween 5, The Revenge of Michael Myers, again back to Michael Myers with that. That's in 1989. And then in 1995, that was Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, which is, I think, the last one before Halloween H20. After Halloween, I think we're on Halloween 6. Halloween 7 is Halloween H20, 20 years later. Then a few years after that, in 2002, there's Halloween Resurrection, followed by, so that's 2002. 2007 is when you get the first of the Rob Zombie Halloween, so that's Rob Zombie's Halloween in 2007. In 2009, we get Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. And then 9 years after that, we get the kind of current trilogy of Halloween films, which are Halloween in 2018, Halloween Kills in 2021, and Halloween Ends in 2022. Out of the three new ones, I've only seen Halloween and Halloween Ends. I didn't see Halloween Kills. Heard it wasn't very good. But and I haven't seen all of the other Halloween films either. But the interesting chart here, there's this chart that shows the various films and how they are connected to one another. I'll probably try to leave a link to this chart in the description. But in the original lineup of films that are connected, like through like continuity, it goes Halloween to Halloween 2. And then Halloween 3 is completely disconnected. So it goes Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 4, 5, and 6. Halloween 3 is its own thing that's completely disconnected from any of the other films. And the Rob Zombie films are also disconnected, but they are connected to each other at least. So the 2007 and 2009 Rob Zombie films are connected. Then, with the kind of first of the kind of major retcons, you have where Halloween H20 and Halloween Resurrection fit in. And it goes from Halloween 2, the original 1981 Halloween 2, to Halloween H20, and then into Halloween Resurrection. And then the newer retcon, which retcons basically everything except for the first film, goes from Halloween in 1978 to the 2018 Halloween, like some 40 years after that. So he goes Halloween in 1978 to Halloween in 2018, and then it goes Halloween Kills in 2021 to Halloween Ends in 2022. Again, I'll try to leave a link to this chart in the description once we get this up. But that is kind of just like the kind of series, how they're connected, how they're not connected, the various retcons and things like that. So it can be kind of confusing depending on like which of the like series you're watching. Let's see here. We get that. The movie Halloween H20 had a $17 million budget. It grossed $75 million. I think Jamie Lee Curtis wanted to reunite a lot of the people from the original film, which included bringing in John Carpenter. And there was rumors that John Carpenter just didn't want to do the film. But I think initially he was actually approached to be in it and had agreed to be in it, or was in talks to be in it. However, he wanted like $10 million to do the film. And I think he thought that asking price would also basically be the compensation he never got from Halloween 1. Apparently there was like a pay dispute over the first film, so that's why he asked for $10 million. I think the producers basically just decided not to do that, and he left the project. So initially he was actually attached to it, but through like various like contract negotiations, it kind of fell apart, and they ended up not going with him. Didn't write who actually directed this one down here. This one is directed by Steve Miner. So we got John Carpenter was initially planning on being in it, but ended up not after various contract things had kind of fallen through. Has mixed reviews critically. Like I think it's got like a 50-something% of Rotten Tomatoes. I personally didn't really like it. I didn't think it was very good. It wasn't particularly scary, but I don't really hold that against horror films for not scaring me necessarily, because I've seen so many of them. I kind of know what to expect. It's like okay, like the music is really tense and then it slows down. You know you're not out of the woods because the killer is like right behind the door, something like that. So I didn't really hold the movie not being scary enough like against it really, especially with horror movies, because like I've seen so many of them, you kind of know what to expect. But like the kills weren't really satisfying. The characters weren't particularly interesting. I didn't really particularly care like how Laurie Strode was portrayed in this particular film. It wasn't amazing, but the other like side characters, like LL Cool J's in this, and then Josh Hartnett. Apparently, I think this is his first film. He also did The Faculty, I think, later in 1998. But him and Jamie Lee Curtis are like the two leads. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's in this for like a brief second. His character gets killed off screen. There was just like the kills weren't very good. Michael Myers didn't really feel like imposing at all. I definitely will give credit to the newer films and even the Rob Zombie films, that they actually have Michael seem like he's much more of a threat. Like the kills are just so much more intense and visceral in the newer films. Like in this one, like he slashes at somebody and like he stabs somebody like once or twice, and the kills did not feel all that impressive or like visceral. They didn't feel like they were like brutal or anything like that. So I definitely feel like the plot wasn't that particularly interesting. Out of the Halloween movies that I've seen, it's probably, which ones have I seen? So I've seen the first two. I thought were pretty good, the originals. I saw the Halloween from 2018, which I thought was good, and then Halloween Ends was pretty good too. The Rob Zombie ones, even though they were remakes, I thought they were interesting because like it was a new director. Like Rob Zombie, I think did a pretty good job of just having the kills be like brutal. I remember it was Malcolm McDowell plays Loomis in those films, or at least in the second one, I think it was. Let me actually just bring up Malcolm McDowell to see because I think he is in that. The Halloween Kills, Halloween. Because I think it's Malcolm McDowell playing Dr. Loomis. Let me see if that's correct here, or the cast at least. Yeah, so Malcolm McDowell plays Loomis, and I think I vaguely remember, not vaguely, I only thought it once, but in Halloween 2, I remember like they go into attempt to talk to him, and I think Michael Myers just like outright just like brutally kills him. So the Rob Zombie films have good kills. This Halloween H20, the kills were just very, very lackluster in my opinion. Um, Now, with that out of the way, let's get to the plot of this film. So the plot of the film, it starts out, I think it's supposed to be the same town from the original films. It shows a lady go into a house and like the house has been burglarized, so she calls the cops. And then like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character, he's only in like two scenes. She's like, "Oh, my house got broken into," and they go in there. He goes in there. Basically, is like looking around trying to help her out, steal some beers. They have with his friends, and they're like, "Oh well, like the cops are on the way. Like whatever happens, like." And then she goes over to his house later, and he's been killed with like a hockey skate. He's got a hockey skate like sticking out of his face. That would have been more interesting to see like on screen, but he was again killed off screen, so that was kind of a thing I didn't particularly like. And apparently, like the lady, and then that lady eventually ends up getting killed too. And I think she was supposed to be the nurse of Dr. Loomis, or former nurse, because I think that Dr. Loomis' character had passed away at that point. I don't remember exactly like he may have gotten killed in Halloween, like the Halloween. No, no, because this ignores that film, so never mind. But so his character is dead, and I think Donald Pleasance. I think his last role was in Halloween, like 6 maybe. Let me just see that because I think Donald Pleasance was in Halloween 6, which is Halloween Curse of Michael Myers. Yeah, Donald Pleasance plays Sam Loomis in that one, and that actor Donald Pleasance passed away in 1995. So that movie came out in 1995, and it passed away. Came out like I think it was released after his passing. Let me see. Released in Halloween 5 September of '95. He passed away in I think February. Let me see Donald Pleasance. Yeah, February 2nd, 1995. But anyway, so his character is that was the final film that he appeared that he actually appeared in. But his nurse is here. His nurse gets killed by presumably by Michael Myers. It does a flash like I think the credits roll then, and then it goes to a school where you see a framed picture of Josh Hartnett's character, and you see like I forget it's like is it Lori Tate because like she goes by a different name in this film. So she doesn't go by Laurie Strode. It's yeah Lori or Carrie Tate is her name in this one because she's going under a different name to try to just kind of get away from the whole like Michael Myers thing. So she's like a headmaster of this like school, I think in California, and you basically see like this schoolroom. You see a knife stab something, and she wakes up screaming, and Josh Hartnett runs into her. That Josh Hartnett's character is her son in this film, and he wants to go to school every year. I guess goes to Yosemite Park is like some kind of like field trip or something. He really wants to go to it, and she's totally against it. But they go to the school. Michael Myers is basically traveling cross country to find her. You basically see him like steal a car and drives to like a rest stop where I think a mom and a daughter go in. The mom like leaves her purse on the ground in this like dirty kind of restroom, and you just see the purse gets stolen, and then you see their car gets driven off, and that car goes out to where Laurie Strode is at this school. So they go to the school. She's against again Josh Hartnett going to the Yosemite Park thing, and then she's secretly dating like one of the other like teachers or something like that. They basically go out to lunch and like they're like, hey, like, and then LL Cool J's character is a like the security guard. He guards the gate. He's like trying to write like romantic like fiction. He's talking to his girlfriend over the phone about it. Josh Hartnett's character comes in and basically bribes him, or this says, hey, like let us go out into the town. We want to go out to lunch or whatever. He's under instructions not to do that, but they go out, and then Lori and the other teacher are having lunch. She orders like 2 glasses of wine. She eventually catches Josh Hartnett and his friend that were like they're like out of school. They're like, hey, we're on off-campus lunch, and she's like, you don't get off-campus lunch. We're going back to the school. So they go back to the school. Lori eventually changes her mind and lets him go to Yosemite. A lot of the other students, like his girlfriend and like some of their friends, don't want to go to Yosemite. So she says, "Oh yeah, you can go to Yosemite. You better go home and pack." But then they decide to stay behind and just kind of have like a party at the school. It's like Josh Hartnett's character, like Michelle Williams' character, and like a couple other characters just stay at the school. And then Michael Myers now is kind of like enclosing it on the school, goes in there, attacks like a bunch of the people, a couple people there. There's a dumb scene where basically Laurie has a gun and she like her boyfriend, the teacher, basically takes it, and they think they're shooting at Michael Myers, but they end up shooting LL Cool J and like shooting at him. The thing is that his character isn't dead at the end. He's like, oh, I just got grazed by the bullet. It was like really stupid. But they go into the school. Michael Myers like does some kills that were not very interesting. They escape by car, like, and then like Laurie is like, all right, cool, like get in the car and get out of here because I'm gonna fight Michael Myers on my own. Michael Myers rolls up to her. I think there's like a car chase where the car gets knocked down a hill. She escapes and then she ends up decapitating Michael Myers, and that's basically the end of the film. Again, not a very good movie overall. Kind of a weak entry, definitely a weak entry in the Halloween franchise. Like I said, I remember when this came out, it was kind of hyped up because Jamie Lee Curtis was returning to the role for the first time, technically since the second film where she was on screen. She does have an uncredited voice role in Halloween 3. I think she's like a phone operator, like you hear in a couple scenes. But this film overall, just not very good. I watched it on Paramount, but it was interesting that we got this done kind of in time for Halloween. Kind of interesting how the timing worked out on that. But Halloween H20 is just not a particularly good movie. But sometimes the whole thing with the series is we watch something and we end up not actually liking it, but we still cover it anyway. So that's going to do it for this episode. We'll be back again in a few days with a video or a computer game from 1998. No idea what that's going to be yet because I've covered a lot of them already. So we'll see what we'll see you back in a few days with that episode. Again, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you again next time. Thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good one. See ya.